I have a little bit of time, so let's chat. Who wants to go first?
You're not on the card.
We all want to go first, but we'll take turns.
Everybody's going first.
How you doing?
I'm doing real well. We had a big gig tonight. We're playing at Jeff Greenstein's favorite place, Johnny B's. Becky's been there once or twice. Fun. That's one of our places to play too.
Is Jeff
Do
going to be
something while
there?
I'm waiting for Tom, you know.
Is Jeff going to be there tonight?
I'm sorry?
Is Jeff going to be there tonight?
I thought he was with you guys, and I was going to scold him, but he probably is going to be there.
Not here. You
No.
might see him yet.
Well, if he's not there, most likely he's going to be at the club.
Say hi.
And that's good. Maybe he'll call you from the club because I can't afford it. I understand he's pretty good at that.
We'll pitch in.
Or maybe you'll get to hear a couple Beatles songs on it. Jeff's there with his cell phone.
Yeah.
So
So you heard from Fran and Gary today, huh?
Yeah.
Great.
When are you going to make one of these?
What's that?
When are you going to make it to one of these?
Well, I'm working.
Oh, and that's some excuse.
We'll have to have it like in the middle of the week or something, no? So I can shake free.
Well, then we're working.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I figured it out. This Beatle band, well, I've been doing this for about 7 years, and we've been averaging about 3 times a month. So actually, if I schedule it right, I do get 1 weekend off.
Okay,
So
which
maybe
one is
that
that?
is doable.
Which one is that? What plan?
I don't know. I'll have to check my schedule. Well, we're only booked until the first of the year, so we're flexible next year. We're booked through New Year's Eve. We're playing in Boston again, New Year's Eve. And with any luck, I'll be out of work next week, next year, because maybe we'll be doing a Boston tour.
Hey,
That would be okay with me, except that it's a lot easier singing these Beatles songs, I'll tell you. It's really easier doing the Boston stuff with Fran. I don't think I'd go anywhere without him.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad. Fran had mentioned that Tom had gotten some female to sing on one of the songs, but he said that maybe Tom had gotten you to come in and replace some of those vocals back with you again.
Well, I haven't talked to Tom in so long. I'm the worst person for information, although there were a couple songs actually. There was one quite a while ago that there was a girl singing on, and I think there's a later one that the last time I went in to work with him, I think I did maybe, he tried some alternate things with me singing, but there was one song that I had finished with him, and then he called me up fairly recently and said he just changed all the lyrics. He wanted me to come back again. So I don't know what the status is at this point. And I was telling Becky, he had called me last week to come work, and then I called him back that day, and he didn't want to break down his setup for vocals because he was still working on that. So I figured, well, maybe he'll call me the next day, and I haven't heard from him yet. I understand he was up to see Fran, and I think they were doing some stuff up in Fran's studio. You guys probably know more than I do.
Hey Brad, you're credited with co-writing a lot of songs, but how much actual input do you get on the lyrics?
Not a whole lot on the last couple of things that I've done with him. On the first, more so on the earlier albums, I think we used to work a little more together. But normally now, if he asks me to come in, he's got pretty much everything all written out, and he just wants to hear how it's going to sound. So then I go in, and I might make a suggestion here and there, but not a whole lot. I can just see if I could come up with a song. I've been thinking about it, and because I really haven't contributed a whole lot lately. Fran's actually written a lot of stuff that I like. So I got to see if I can maybe come up with one too, sort of earn my keep.
So how many songs have you sung on so far?
Ooh, let's see. I would say we've worked on, I think I've done probably 5, and I'd be hesitant to give you all the titles because a couple of them have actually changed since we worked on them. And I haven't even heard the stuff that Fran's worked on. I've heard Fran's demos of them, but I haven't heard them since they were redone at Tom's. I'm just kind of like a free-floating raft here. I go off like Friday night and we do this thing, and then if someone calls me, I go in and work. But
Well,
like I say, it's been quite a while. But I know Tom's been busy. There's a whole lot of things that need to be done before he even thinks about putting vocals on. That's always the last thing to do.
it's good to see that you can do something that you enjoy in the meantime, though.
Yeah, I really, like I say, it's amazing to me that we've been doing this for 7 years, and it doesn't get old, and we're just trying to keep it real low key. We don't like to travel a whole lot. We don't like to make like a big deal out of it. There's no show, as anyone who's seen the band can tell you. It's just the music, and yeah, and it's fun, and it makes me kind of at least feel a little bit like a musician while I'm waiting to go in and work with Tom.
Well, you're so diplomatic. When are you running for office?
I don't know. Has Ralph Nader have a running mate yet?
Hey, Brad.
Yes, sir.
A couple of us were kicking around an idea. When you tour again,
Yeah.
any idea who's going to play bass?
Oh, man. Well, you know what? I think maybe I'm speaking a little without, completely knowing the situation, but I'm thinking that maybe Anthony might be playing bass. But that's kind of an educated guess on my part. I do know that Fran has played bass before too, but Fran's probably pretty important playing guitar. So that's a very good question.
Cool.
One I don't have an answer to.
Well, we're not holding you to anything you don't say.
Huh?
I can't go.
Well, I'll tell you one person that won't be playing bass, and that's me. I have no ability to do that. Again, I was telling Becky that my son just started playing bass, but I think Tom's probably looking for somebody with more than a year's experience. So that probably won't work right away. Maybe next tour.
Hey, Brad, speaking of tours, where does Tom store everything that goes on the road when you guys normally go on tour? That must stay in storage for a long time.
There used to be a place down in, I believe it was in Rhode Island, where they kept everything, and they still might. For a time there, Scholz R&D, they had big office space there, and some of the stuff was kept there, but now they just have the offices, so they really can't do anything there. But like Bernie and all that stuff, I think was down in Rhode Island.
Do you have the address?
I never went to visit him. I don't see Bernie unless we're on the road.
Hey, at one time I had asked you about you singing "It's Easy" in concert, and you said that with Fran that you might be able to pull it off.
That's a real tough one. That one has some of the highest vocal parts, and that's probably what's tough about that song. Plus just the way the harmonies are arranged. So the interesting thing for me as a singer, when I first started working with Tom, is that, and Tom not really being a singer, having a much lower voice, when he writes the vocal parts, he writes them sort of more from the standpoint of they're sort of played on the piano, and then he wants them sung that way oftentimes. So that a lot of times the phrasing or just the way the harmonies are structured are probably not the way a singer would arrange them, which can be very interesting, but sometimes it's kind of challenging to be able to do those. And that's one of those songs that's easy. There are some songs, I might have told somebody I didn't like that song, and it wasn't that I didn't like the song, it's just I didn't like having to do that song. Because we did play it, now I think back on the second tour, I don't think we played it on Third Stage Tour, but that was just like a monstrous one to try and get all the parts.
I heard that you regretted doing the high part of More Than a Feeling also.
Yeah, you don't think about that, oh gee, I'm going to have to sing this when I'm 50. It's like the interview with Paul McCartney back in like 64 when he was saying, of course we're not going to be singing She Loves You when we're 40. And now he's, a few more years he'll be able to do the When I'm 64 tour. And he'll actually be 64. So, pretty amazing. This rock and roll turned out to be a little more durable than some of us thought.
Well, maybe you can back him up.
I can sing his stuff, that's okay.
Right.
He wants to sing mine.
We've heard that.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
Well, that imitation being the sincerest form of flattery. That's kind of why we do that. Yeah, it's easy. Well, we'd have a lot better shot at it with Fran in there for sure. Fran, I don't know how he does it, but he's managed to keep all those high notes, which is good for me.
Are you looking forward to touring or not?
I think I am, just because we haven't done it so long, and I'm looking forward to it in as much as we'll be able to pull it off. And it is a fair amount of work. Tom is unorthodox, I guess to say. So it's not like a lot of bands, putting a band together and rehearsing. So it really represents a lot of work, which I don't mind. And it'll be nice, if it all comes together. And I thought the last couple of tours that we did, I was very pleased. And a lot of people asked me the distinction between like the original band and then going out like on Third Stage or even the later tours. And there was obviously something to be said for the original band when we put it together, and it was very much, it was more spontaneous. But I don't know if I'd really care to go back and listen to those live tapes in detail, because frankly, when we were in the studio, I did all the vocals. That's how Tom just liked to work, and it wound up being an easy way for us to work. And we weren't considering when we went out on tour, now everybody's going to have to sing. It was just something that the other guys didn't do a lot of. I thought they were all very good players, but it just wasn't their thing. So later, starting with Third Stage, when we actually had to audition people to come down, that was one of the things that was very important was, we auditioned people for their playing ability, but we usually picked Don't Look Back. And if they could sing the bridge and Don't Look Back, those real high falsetto parts, they got the gig. So I think the band was able to sound a lot more like the records in later tours. That's not to take anything away from, the earlier tours, which of course were great and exciting for me. But it was nice that we were able to get people that could cover a lot of those parts.
Well, now that you brought it up, is there any closer realization to any live releases that you and Tom may have talked about?
I think that's pretty much up to Tom, because I think Tom is most likely in possession of all of those. And that, even though it's a live, even though that we did a lot of live recordings, again, at Third Stage, and in Walk On we did some also, they were all multi-track recorded. They were all done on like 24-track machines. So even though the idea is that it's live and spontaneous, it still represents a fair amount of work for Tom to go through all of those. Now, I understand, and you guys probably know about it, that he did give a radio station out here a live track.
Yeah, Living
and
for
I think
You.
it was Living for You.
Yeah, for a charity.
You guys maybe have heard it, because I haven't heard it. I'm sure it's great. Fran always sang that great every night. But, yeah, so he put that one together for them. I've heard some stuff off the Third Stage tour that I thought sounded pretty good, just little rough things. But again, that's out of my domain, because I'm lost in the studio. They put a mic up, I stand in front of it, and that's pretty much what I do. So everything else is up to Tom. But I think that's something he's considered more than once. And personally, being a Beatle fan, or just being a fan, I understand that whenever anything comes out that I could get my hands on, old outtakes of Beatles songs and stuff, I don't care what they sound like. I still like to have them. But then the other side of the coin is, if Tom releases something, he wants to make sure that I think that it's representative and that it's done right. So there's the dilemma.
Yeah, we want a concert DVD too.
Well, I've always loved it. I've been into video and stuff, for ages, and I got a lot of stuff on DVD. I was just watching that there's a Making of Asia Steely Dan DVD that's great, and there's a lot. I've seen a few of those, like on the Band and Fleetwood Mac Rumors. So that would be great to be able to do that. Tom historically has not been like a video person, so we kind of have to maybe introduce them to that side of it.
What about the one that HBO had prepared?
That I'm not. You guys can fill me in on that.
Well, I just heard that that there was one that was supposed to air on HBO, but it got killed.
Oh,
But they had it was all fully produced or whatever.
that I have no knowledge of. Is that amazing?
Nope.
No.
I got it. No, probably isn't. Well, you guys know me by now, so that
Oh yeah.
I'm not a wealth of information. But I generally I kind of don't go out seeking it. But if somebody comes across with it, that's usually how I find out about things. I was driving in my car, like 2 years before Third Stage came out. I was riding home from work, and Amanda came on the radio. And it, like I said, this was 2 years before the album. Somebody had leaked it out, and I called Tom about it, and then, of course, he was just as surprised. And so sometimes those things have a way of sneaking up.
Hey, Brad.
Yep.
I was just wondering, is there any possibility of maybe you and Tom doing a Star Spangled Banner at a ball game anytime or anything like that?
Well,
Because a lot of people, including myself, think that would just be one of the greatest things.
1, 2, 3. Super Bowl!
Super Bowl! Super Bowl!
In Nashville this time.
yeah, I don't know if that this particular arrangement lends itself as much to vocals. Although I bet we could do up a pretty good arrangement. If I were going to do it, I think I'd like to do it again with Fran, and would lend itself to some nice harmonies and things. But if we did that, or if we were going to work that up now, then he would have to stop work on the album and arranging.
Okay, scrap that idea.
Yeah, we'll scratch that for now.
For now.
We'll let him finish up with the current work here.
Yeah.
Hey, and I really, it amazes me the loyalty of you guys, and because it's a funny thing. I don't think about Boston all that much on my own from day to day. I mean, I'm always appreciative of what it's given me, and part of it, what it's given me, is the freedom to go out and what I'm doing tonight and just have fun. And I do appreciate when people come up and say, oh, this was my school song, or or more likely these days, would you sign this for my mom? So, I mean, I really am appreciative of all you guys and your efforts, and one lady there in particular who... really mind-boggling, and the only way I can relate to it is, like I say, I'm a fan. I've got my band of choice, and I haven't been nearly as loyal to them as you guys have been to us. So, I mean, I haven't been sending Paul McCartney tour calendars and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but you can sing the Beatles. We can't sing Boston.
I can try, but that's really how I learned to play. So I really do, it's very flattering, and maybe I don't think of it so much for myself. I think of it more for Tom, because you can have a Boston album, I think, with, I don't want to get into a debate here either. I think you can have a Boston album with just about anybody, as long as Tom is doing it, but...
You lose.
everyone else in Boston doing stuff, but it's not going to be a Boston record. Like when Barry and I, when we did RTZ, and we weren't trying to make a Boston record, really. We really weren't. We were trying to do, actually, almost the opposite. It was just, well, let's just kind of, let ourselves come out with it. But, I mean, it's pretty clear who's really has that sound. So, I'm thrilled that I was a part of it, but, he's Mr. Boston, I guess.
Brad, you could sing practically anything and we would love it. I can tell you that right now.
Well, I'm liable to.
Sing something for us.
I gotta sing about 70 songs tonight.
Wow.
Which is great. The problem with this Beatle band is when we run out of time, as Becky will tell you, we have to do quick editing and figure out which songs we're gonna leave out. And that's the hard part. They're just all so much fun to do, and it's great fun to be able to do that.
Hey, Brad, as a musician, what's your take on the MP3 controversy?
I'm not up to speed on MP3 yet because I still don't have a DSL line. I'm still a 56K guy, unfortunately. So I guess it's not too practical for me at this point, and I expect to learn more about it from my son. I guess there's two sides of the coin to that, too. I can understand the whole deal about copyright. I can also understand well, like I say, I have Beatle bootlegs, and so there's a similarity there. I think maybe the difference is the fact that where the bootlegs you like to have because there's something that the record labels don't release. And but if you're releasing the same thing, my understanding is the quality of MP3 is not as good as buying a CD, so that the rationale is, people, you want to sample a little bit, and so people will download a song or something, whether you're going to download a whole album and then keep that, or whether you want to, it'll just encourage you to go out and then buy the CD, So there's two schools of thought there, and as a fan, I understand the impetus behind it. From a practical standpoint, I guess you can understand copyright laws and things like that too. So, but I don't come down too hard on it at this point in time, anyway.
Well, of course we understand all that.
And we all know the record companies are the bad guys.
Yeah.
So in a way, I guess maybe it's
bad.
Maybe it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Have you had any conversations with Tom regarding that kind of stuff?
Oh, no, I haven't. None at all. I don't really know. I don't know where he stands on that issue. Sorry, can't help you there.
Did you? I was at the Red Rocks Denver concert, and I liked your statement about it was like the best venue, and and what took your promoter so long to get you guys there.
That was the only time we ever played there, and it was just there's no place like that. Obviously, it was just such a great experience that I was. That was obviously one of my favorite things, just because it's unique. And the people there were terrific, huh?
Yeah.
That was a great crowd that night.
Yeah, it was like tickets went on sale like an hour earlier than usual. Like they went on sale at 9:30. Normally they go on sale at 10:30 in Colorado.
Uh-huh.
And so a lot of people missed out on tickets. But
wow.
that concert sold out like in 50 minutes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean there was a tremendous crowd there. That was outside of just the place itself. I'm getting the evil eye now because we have to. We're getting ready to go to this gig, and if I don't show up, they won't start without me.
Well, have a great show.
Some Beatle instrumental songs.
We're looking forward to the new album so that you can upgrade to a DSL line.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to it too. I'm looking forward to hearing from Tom. I expect to hear from him in the next week or so. Because, like I said, we almost got together, but those things that happens a lot with him. Is like I say, he's such a stickler for detail that. So I just I say, well, I'm home. Call me when you're ready, and that's pretty much how that works. But seeing as he just got back from working with Fran, I'm sure he'll probably have some stuff for me to do soon, so we can actually come out and see you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a great show. Thanks for
Thanks a
calling.
lot.
Thanks.